A mother, two of her young children killed, among others. That must surely make our leaders sit up, take notice, and think we need to do more.
Absolutely. Reporters like you and others at Fox News and other networks are doing a great job of covering what's happening. This is a significant human interest story for the whole world. And unfortunately, as Russia continues this campaign, we're going to see more images like that. I think it's pretty clear now that Russia is not going to be able to occupy and control Ukraine. The uprising by the Ukrainians who are unified has been too strong. They have 44 million people. They have 5 to 10 million military-age males who are willing to fight. There's no way Russia could have a significant enough occupying force to quell that in Ukraine. So we see Russia now pivoting to a campaign where they're killing civilians by shelling the cities, and some reports suggest indiscriminately shooting at civilians. So this raises the specter that Putin is engaging in war crimes. The International Criminal Court is now investigating him for war crimes. I expect that they likely will indict him. If you look back at other conflicts, like in Libya, Muammar Gaddafi was indicted within a few months of starting to kill civilians. And then with respect to the no-fly zone, President Zelensky is asking NATO for that. So far, NATO has said they will not do a no-fly zone, but you never know what's going to happen in a conflict. Back to the Libya conflict, when it first started in February, NATO kept saying they would not do an air campaign. But within 6 weeks, because of the atrocities and as Libya's columns of tanks went to enter Benghazi, where they would have killed tens of thousands of civilians, ultimately, NATO did do airstrikes that significantly changed the picture on the ground.
But David, what surprises me about this is that it is so unsurprising and that we weren't more prepared for this. We saw what Putin did in Grozny, Chechnya. We saw what he did in Aleppo, Syria. We apparently, according to the Biden administration, knew that this invasion was coming. So therefore, we must have known we were going to get this kind of bombing of civilian areas. Why were we not more nimble and ready to react to that?
Well, when a conflict like this unfolds, I don't think you ever know exactly what's going to happen. So even many Russia experts didn't think that Putin was going to invade. They were obviously wrong. And personally, I thought we should expect anything. We couldn't really predict what Putin was going to do. We also didn't know how the conflict was going to go on the ground. In the first few days, it seemed it was possible that Russia could invade and occupy all of Ukraine, but we didn't know for sure how hard Ukrainians would fight. We now know that, and so that's why we have the raising specter of significant atrocities like happened in Chechnya and as has happened in other conflicts where Russian forces on the ground were stalled. And in Syria, for instance, they resorted to barrel bombing and other bombing and bombardment shelling that was targeting civilians in order to basically suffocate the population.
All right, David, got to wrap it up there. Thank you very much, David Tafuri, for being with us as always. And